Morning, YouTube. I'm Travis, and this is my Ibanez RG8. Now, this is my first new guitar day in quite some time. First time I've bought a brand new guitar in about 5 or 6 years. The last one that I bought that was brand new was actually this really cool PV Predator with a Floyd Rose, and I actually have a review of it on my YouTube channel as well. But this one is an 8-string. Count 'em. And it's an Ibanez RG8, and I've always wanted an 8-string since they started coming out. I don't know why, I guess I've just always been very interested in the extended range guitar thing, and you know, ever since I've heard bands like Dream Theater, Korn, you know, I've always loved the 7 strings, and then as soon as I heard that Meshuggah switched to 8 strings, I'm like, yeah, you know, I'd love to give that a shot, see what I can do with it. And Agile had a bunch out several years ago that were somewhat affordable, but I just never got around to buying them. And then finally, yesterday, I got my tax return in, and I find this lovely, lovely guitar at a local music shop. So this isn't really going to be a review, you know, just more of an idea of my first impressions of playing an 8-string. And I have to say, I'm really impressed with this guitar so far. It's actually a lot lighter than it looks. You would think that because it's an 8-string, and I mean, look at the neck on this thing. It is massive. It's a little thin, though. But you know, this is just such a massive neck and such a massive body, and yet it weighs probably no more than my 7-string. My other 7-string is an Ibanez as well. It's the AX7D221 model, and one of my biggest gripes with that particular guitar has always been its scale length, which is actually a lot like a Gibson's. It's a 24 3/4 inch scale. And this one has a 27-inch scale, which, you know, according to just about everybody in the guitar world, will tell you, yeah, it'll hold up to low tunings, and you don't need, you know, strings that are basically pieces of rebar to tune down to drop B. But so far, this is a pretty impressive little package here. Some of the fine touches that went into the making of this guitar are just, they're really nice, and it's actually mostly on the headstock end. You probably won't be able to see it from the video, but the Ibanez logo is mother of pearl. If it's not an inlay, it's at least a decal that looks like mother of pearl. It's pretty classy. My other Ibanez has just a simple white Ibanez logo decal. Probably understandable because that one was built in a Kort factory in Korea rather than an Ibanez factory. This one is made in Indonesia, and I really have no comment on that one. I'm not one of those guitar players who must think that everything must be Japanese or American made to be good. The fret dressings are pretty nice. It's just a smooth player. Plays like butter. And let me show you the neck profile again, just how thin it is. It's just so thin and wide. It's surprisingly very comfortable to play. I thought I was going to have like the hardest time because my 7-string doesn't have a wizard neck. This is, I believe, a wizard 2, and my other 7-string has this like baseball bat neck that's just really uncomfortable to play. But this one, it just works. It's great. It feels surprisingly like nothing at all. And that's awesome. So far, I haven't had any tuning issues with it, but I've only had to live with it for about 24 hours now, so that could change, especially as the strings start to get old. The upper fret access on this guitar is probably the best of any guitar I've ever owned. But I mean, that's a pretty standard thing for the RG line. They're pretty well known for the upper fret access. I had a choice of another 8-string that was only about like $10 more, but it didn't have this sculpted heel like this one does. Other than that, I mean, you've got a couple of passive pickups that are active route. So if I wanted to drop in a set of EMGs, I could. I probably want to go with a set of Lace Alumitone Deathbuckers, just because every comparison I've heard, that's the tone I want. The Lace Alumitone tone. Volume, tone, 3-way selector. It's a pretty basic guitar, but that's exactly what I wanted. I'm not interested in a million bells and whistles. I just wanted a guitar that gets the job done. So, for the sound, I mean, so far the sound of this thing is pretty good. The pickups are just stock Ibanez. I was told that they're actually bass pickups. Weird enough, but for the tone, these are actually not terrible. You know, I was expecting something just really muddy and really, really horrible, but, you probably can't hear it as well as I can because, you know, recorded with a potato, but it does have a really, really pleasing sound. And even on the neck pickup, which, I mean, usually I have issues with, doesn't sound half bad. So I'm not really going to run through all of the settings and everything, but just to give you guys an idea of the kind of sound I'll be trying to wring from this thing, here's just some highly distorted wank. Gives you an idea of what it sounds like. I will show you the neck pickup because I'm sure a lot of people want to actually see that. Sorry, I haven't finished my coffee yet. Anyway, really, really nice sound. Thanks for the input, Kat. Really, really crisp, clean sound, surprisingly, considering these are just, you know, basic stock Ibanez pickups. Just a lovely guitar. I'm having a lot of fun with it. So far, my big thing with it is not been experimenting with tuning so much, but for Borealia material, I've been kind of toying with the idea of a drop A tuning, which, you know, I use a lot on my 7-string for for Borealia songs, and I've been trying to think, well, how am I going to incorporate that into an 8-string sound? So my solution's been to tune the 7th down to A, and then the 8th string down to E. So it's kind of like Animals as leaders in drop A. It seems to work pretty well, and I'm going to do another video after this where I demonstrate that with basically just a playthrough of a Borealia tune. But so far, this is just a wonderful, wonderful experience playing an 8-string guitar. I can't recommend it enough. If you happen to be in the market for a cheap, affordable 8-string guitar that I mean, this is pretty solid quality. Ibanez has always been really good for innovating with extended range instruments, but more than just innovating by doing something really special, Ibanez has always been on top of making extended range guitars affordable and easy to live with. And that was the same with the 7-string. When they came out with the Ibanez Universe, and it was all the rage with Steve Vai and Korn. Not much later, they were releasing like the RG7421 or whatever the model number is as their basic cheap alternative to it, and they made sure that that guitar was very, very good in quality. And I feel like Ibanez has done the same thing with the 8-string. They came out with the RG2228, and it was a big hit with the Gent and Meshuggah crowd. And now that they have kind of honed some of the 8-string skills in their factories, they've come out with this RG8, which is, I guess, kind of the culmination of that for a budget-minded alternative. And they did a really wonderful job with this guitar. I'm trying to think of any real gripes I have with this guitar. I can't really think of any off the top of my head. I know the pickups are not the best. That's probably the big one. The low F sharp string does get a little buzzy at times, but you don't notice it so much through the amp. I'm guessing it's just because of how new the strings are. But that is that. It's a really nice guitar. Really great for the money. I mean, this was 525 Canadian before taxes. I believe in American shops it goes for about $400. You can't really go wrong with that price. I mean, if I ordered an Agile from the States, it probably would have cost almost $600 just to ship it, and then another couple hundred for, customs and stuff. So, thank you for watching. And that's that.